Level 1.
Wow, we've made it. Welcome to the TEP Alpha Special. So yeah, this is just a one-off. Obviously, there's some crazy news that's dropped today. We just want your thoughts. We want, we just want to see what's going on. So we've got a poll running in the chat. Make sure you get that done. And also, I've gifted. It's gone to Nick Craddock. So well done to you, Nick.
Again.
So he should be one anyway, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's just see who we've got in here. As you can see, we've got Mr. Ryan.
Hello.
You're
Good
right.
to be here. Sorry, I've been out this afternoon and had a couple of beers for personal reasons, and yeah, I wasn't expecting to do the stream tonight, so I may be a little bit more honest than what I usually am on these things. So let's wait and see.
And also, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Sir Top and Hat.
Good evening. Here we are on the official launch of the Evercade Alpha. So hopefully you're all excited in the chat and lots of questions for us.
So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the video up, have a quick look at it, get our thoughts, and then we want your guys' thoughts. So we want your questions. We're going to get your questions in, see what you guys think about this announcement that's happened. So if Ryan can get us started, let's have a look at this Evercade Alpha. So I think a couple of people have called. It's what we wanted, but in different ways. But yeah, let's get looking at what it was. So I'll shut up.
Right, let's watch it. Let's go.
Pick 12.
Well, they love shoving other things off the screen, don't they? That seems to be their thing.
So wow, there it is. So right, we'll go to you, Ryan, and see what did you think of the Evercade Alpha?
Wow. As I said, I was out earlier today, so I didn't see the launch live. I watched it about an hour after the initial release, and I deliberately didn't go into the Evercade Hangout and see what people's thoughts were before I watched the trailer. So I watched the trailer, and my initial thought was, well, I kind of already own a Capcom little arcade thing.
Look at that.
Yeah, which I know it's not as big as the one that Evercade is selling, but it's got Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition on it, which I think is possibly the best Street Fighter arcade game. And I believe that cost about £50 from game. And then when I see Blazer selling these at £200, I immediately think, wow, that's quite pricey. But I appreciate that it's bigger than, because that's like a micro arcade or mini arcade. The Evercade Alpha is going to be slightly bigger, so I do appreciate that. But then what also worried me is these Capcom games are behind a paywall again. I was debating with someone on the Hangout before I came on here. He was saying Blaze can't get Capcom games on a cartridge. And I'm like, well, where have Capcom ever said that? It's only what Blaze are telling us. Nobody ever officially from Capcom have ever said, we will not release a cartridge with Capcom games on it. maybe Blaze are holding that license back to put on hardware to charge £200. So people, if people want the privilege of playing those games on Evercade devices, they will need to go out and buy the hardware, i.e. what they did with the EXP and the Super Pockets as well. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that they've also separated 2 Capcom licenses across 2 devices. Why couldn't have all those games been on one device as well? I was a little bit. I'm not shocked, but I am just a little bit disappointed that they've gone down the hardware route again. And the reason why I'm not shocked is because usually this time of year, it came up on my photo memories the other day. I had a screenshot of me ordering a VS 3 years ago, and a year prior to that was when my original Evercade arrived. So obviously this time of year is when they like to do the pre-orders, get the cash flow in. And I know it's not officially crowdfunding, but it is in a way crowdfunding, because it seems that they need the money in advance via Funstock to be able to make these things.
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts in a minute. So I'll go to you, Setup and Hack. Obviously, what are you thinking about this device?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's exciting to see any device. And I know how much people have been speculating since that recent leak of the alpha on that controller. And largely a lot of people have said they would like a bar top. And here we are, 2 of them. Obviously, Street Fighter 2 is synonymous around the world. So it's fantastic that we've got so many different versions there, including obviously the Puzzle Fighter, which I'm quite a fan of, actually. I used to have it on PS1. So, that's obviously a wonderful addition to it. And then obviously we've got the Mega Man bar top as well, with a couple of those rarer Mega Man ones, which is pretty fantastic. Of course, Knights of the Round, which everybody loves. And of course, I'm always, as I always say, a massive, massive Final Fight fan. So to have those with an arcade joystick, especially with the deluxe one, which obviously comes with the Sandware joystick, and that is just fantastic. If you want to play Donut Dodo and make sure you make those ladders really, really tight, then obviously that's the pick for you, because honestly, that is fantastic. And I've got to say, even though it is more expensive than the standard edition, it did actually cost Blaze between 30 and 50 of that extra money to add that in to that deluxe edition. So they're not actually really making a great deal in that particular bracket margin there, because of the cost of that extra better joystick. So for myself, I think if you're going to go for one, I'd try and jump in on that deluxe. So I'd just like to also add, they're not limited edition. So it doesn't matter if you pick it up now or you pick it up in, say, September. Obviously, there should be enough for everybody. And if they do run low on stock, then they'll produce some more.
Yeah, so some great things there. Like, I really like the concept of it. For me personally, it's just a pre-order price is a bit annoying, really, for me. I was saying a lot of people in there have said like the price. It's just a shame that this is just a pre-order version of being £200. Then you're looking at £230. I like the idea of it. I want to have a go on one, really. I just want to see what it's like. I don't want to be dropping that kind of money on something you might not play. And it was like I was saying earlier, you're always going to have to either be sat at a desk to play it. Are you really going to sit in your lounge with it on your lap? I don't know how stable it is. Is it going to be angled down when you play it? Do you know what I mean? It's something you've got to really invest and think, are you going to get much use out of this? But it looks great. It, like you're saying, I've always like the different joystick, the different sticks look great as well. It's just it's frustrating. It's really good potential for me. Really good potential. Like a lot of like things that Ryan's already come out and said, is kind of like how I feel about it as well. But for me personally, I'd love to I want to see one in action first, see what it's like. How does it play? What kind of cartridges I put in there and how do they look? But yeah, it's it wasn't what I thought, as I was saying, but it's like there's your dimensions there. That's two. You can play multiplayer for it. It's got a high resolution IPS screen.
Yeah.
You can swap the marquee. So that is, do you know what I mean? It's great. You can personalize it all. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean the marquees. There's 3 on the standard edition, and then you've got 6 obviously on the deluxe edition. So
yeah, it's great. So yeah, I'm torn. I really like it. I'm just torn if I can actually get one. Do you know what I mean?
Would have been a good feature, like with this £50 sort of Street Fighter mini sort of arcade, you can link this to another one to do 2 players. So it's a shame that you can't do that with that device. So you can't link 2 together. You have to plug a joypad into it, which kind of takes the arcade experience away a little bit for me.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, obviously, the deluxe version does come with a branded Alpha joypad, but there's nothing stopping you using a third-party joypad or joystick. So if, like a lot of people I notice, favor the Switch arcade joystick, then obviously you could, potentially plug that in, and away you go, and sort of have a similar arcade experience to the other person.
Yeah, because I'm not, like my initial reaction, probably people are thinking I'm massively negative about this. I think if you're new to the Evercade ecosystem and you don't own a VS or a handheld or anything, and you see this come Christmas and you know that there's various arcade cartridges you can put into it, then I think this will sell quite well. And I think people will look at it. The design of the cabinets is very, very good, especially like that classic Street Fighter branding.
Yeah,
it is going to sell. If you, and I always say this and people laugh at me and think I'm very posh, but if you can get this into John Lewis and places like that at Christmas, people will see. Yeah, but it's a high value good, isn't it? It's £200. Whack that in John Lewis. People will be, doing their posh Christmas shopping there, and they see that, and that'll be like an impulse buy for a spouse at home. And I think it would do very, very well, and have a few arcade cartridges piled up alongside it, like Irem and Gallico and Pico or whatever else. And I think it will shift. One thing that I don't think would be particularly good on it is playing like some of the console games or C64 games using that, like the joystick. But then if you can plug a joypad into it, then I guess that's the bonus of being able to do that, because all of a sudden you have got a portable VS, it is basically a portable VS, isn't it? You potentially be able to plug that into your car if you've got the right USB connection, and it would power it up. So yeah, from that point of view, I think it's quite cool. Or in your camper van, or if you're going on holiday, take it with you. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I've got a VS and a couple of those other little arcade things. I think it's not something that I personally will purchase, but I could see there is a market for it. Possibly people new to Evercade, or really rich people like NintendOlly, who's usually on this panel with us.
But like saying like here, Ian said no HDMI out, kill it. Can you imagine if it had a HDMI out? That'd be like, what a great feature that'd be, being able to plug it into your TV and actually arcade stick it. So do you know what I mean? It's just, no, your £50 one hasn't got one, Ryan. But
no. That's a my arcade. It's got a battery pack, a battery compartment, which I don't know whether these things have got a battery compartment on them or are they just USB?
USB-C. Yeah.
So that's our thoughts. We want to get your questions. We want you to ask us, see what we can answer. So first one I've got here from Nicholas Skipkins is, could we see a Super Pocket with these Evercade Alpha games that are not yet currently available on Super Pocket? So I'll just open it up to everyone. So what do you guys think?
I personally think that it would be a really good idea if they could get like Street Fighter Alpha on a Super Pocket. I think it'd be really cool. But then equally, do they want to split the market between these devices and Super Pocket, which is like a low-end product? Yeah, I don't know if they necessarily will. I personally can't see it. And talking about Hyper Mega Tech, I'm surprised these arcade cabinets aren't a Hyper Mega Tech product. I thought it would have fitted better within that ecosystem rather than Evercade, personally.
Yeah, so do I. Derek, anything on that for you? Or?
Yeah, thanks for your question, Nicholas. Yeah, I mean, obviously talks are ongoing with Capcom. So yeah, anything's possible in the future. Obviously, what is really wanted down the line is obviously cartridges. I don't see that's going to be off the table. Capcom's been more than well accommodated so far, appearing on obviously the EXP, the Super Pocket, and obviously the Evercade Alpha. They've seen that Blaze can handle the job. They can get it running well on emulators. So I think that there's definitely more business to be done there. There's certainly not a version to it. Blaze have had some actual in-person meetings with Capcom. So yeah, I really do think that, yeah, we're definitely going to see more Capcom in the future in some way or another. And obviously, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't even mind if we saw another of these arcade ones, perhaps with some of Capcom's bigger licenses. You know, I wouldn't mind that at all. So, well, we'll see. But this is, of course, uncharted waters. Blaze are new to this particular market of the mini arcade cabinets. So, yeah, we'll see where it takes them.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what we have questioned that before. So,
yeah, what we're just sorry, Blunners, just before that.
Right.
What I could see happening is maybe like a Tate mode mini arcade, like this little Miss Pac-Man one that my daughter wanted for Christmas.
Like this Pac-Man?
That's like Tate mode. And yeah, you could see possibly one of those coming out in the future, especially with all the Tate games that they've seemed to have stopped bringing out at the moment. But there is still quite a few, isn't there, on the iRoom collections, and is it Tower Plan as well? There must be, 15, 20 Tate games?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 21 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so next one we got from Nick Craddock is, Dear Derek, this screams Hyper Mega Tech product. Why isn't it? And do you know what's happening with Hyper Mega Tech?
Yeah. I mean, Hyper Mega Tech still up and running. They've had several projects under development. Unfortunately, one fell through at the beginning of the year, but at the moment, yeah, other things are really igniting there, and it won't be too long, I think, before we see something revealed there. And yeah, they've certainly got their finger on the button.
Yeah. So yeah, saying I don't. We just answered this, didn't we? Really, Ryan? You're saying it would have been better if it was a Hyper Mega Tech, which is what we thought it would have been. But
I just think it falls better within that ecosystem, because you've got the Super Pockets, which are the smaller, obviously the small handhelds, and then these arcade cabinets would fall more within that ecosystem. Then you've got the VS and EXP within the Evercade ecosystem.
Yeah. So our next one here from Dave is put, will Namco carts work? So
they will. Yeah. It's official. They will work on the bar top. Yes, it's because it doesn't connect to the television. Hence, no HDMI. It's considered a portable, and therefore, yes, the Namco cartridges will work. So yeah, you'll be able to play Pac-Man, Dig Dug till your heart's content, which obviously for a big Namco fan like myself is fantastic.
That's great.
What is the reason that will work on the arcade cabinet, not on the VS? Is it classified as a portable device then, this arcade cabinet? Derek, do you know, or?
It's considered in technical terms, yes, as a type of portable, not as a type of TV console in that respect. So yeah, as I say, that's the reason the Namco carts can work.
Okay. All right. Next one from Lamini Pie. What's the size comparison to say that a Sega or Neo Geo Mini arcades? So, well, until we've actually got one in your hands, I'm not sure.
No, I've never actually held an Ingra or a Neo Geo Mini. What I can tell you about the bar top is it's just under a half a meter tall. So at 41 centimeters or just over 16 inches. So yeah, that's roughly where the size is of that. Also, if people in, for instance, the United States or Canada want to order one, I know one of your biggest gripes would be, what about the shipping? Well, I've got good news for you. There's going to be stock moved to the US. And then when you order it, it will come from within the US. So actually, you'll save on shipping. And
That's
also
good.
the same with people in the EU. It'll be moved to the EU. So obviously, yeah, you won't have ferocious shipping bills like I know some people have imagined they would do with a device like this. But actually, a lot of that's been taken out by Blaze. A lot of respect for that. So
That's great.
lot forward.
That's great news.
Yeah, it's great.
Next one we got here is I would rather seen an Evercade branded cabinet with maybe Cady on the side and Evercade across the marquees. Only to use carts. That would price could come down considerably. Yeah. So do you think that'd be something that they could do? Is actually take these licenses off and just literally be like, look, here's an Evercade like arcade cabinet just to play your actual Evercade carts you already own on.
Well, the fact they've done it with the XPR, haven't they? They've took the games off that and have done one that's
could be the R, could be the R type next year.
Yeah, it could be an Evercade Alpha R come next year, which wouldn't surprise me at all.
Never say never.
No, I think something with an Evercade branded cabinet with Cady on the side would only really appeal to people within the Evercade ecosystem at the moment. If you were to put them on Amazon or in retail shops, then people aren't going to impulse buy them. Whereas if you see Street Fighter or Mega Man on the cabinet, then I think that's more likely to get impulse buys rather than an Evercade branded one at the moment, anyway.
Yeah. Next one we put here, Gene J. Do you think they'll bring future Super Pockets under the Evercade brand?
I haven't heard anything that makes that suggestion possible. It's not to say it couldn't be, but yeah, at the moment, I've not heard anything along those lines.
I was saying here, we've also got, I can see Ryan picking up one of these if they do a limited edition in television cabinet.
Yeah, I think push for it.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Oh, I'd love that, I'll tell you now.
So one I got after that is, we ever get analog sticks and arcade stick being as we got so many arcade carts?
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I personally can't see an arcade stick now because they're going to focus on selling an actual arcade cabinet rather than the arcade stick itself. So I personally think that it's more unlikely now that we're going to get an Evercade branded arcade stick. However, there are lots of good arcade sticks out there, and I see lots of people within the Evercade Hangout sharing pictures of their arcade sticks. That sounds quite
8-bit dough one.
Yeah, the 8-bit dough one.
Say that one.
Clarify that. Yeah.
I'm trying to help you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, they do share that, and apparently that's a very, very good arcade stick. So if you're after an arcade stick, just go out and buy that one, and then you can use that across all your devices anyway.
Sounds weird. Are the deluxe controls worth getting? What's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, massively. The Samwa joystick, if you know anything about arcade gaming, it was only literally a few years back. A lot of Americans on Street Fighter 2 were falling foul of the Japanese, and that's because they were so used to these Samwa joysticks. They are absolutely spot on when it comes to controls. Their flexibility and their precision is really, really top level. That's why they've had to pay so much to put these into the units. So yeah, if you're looking for a quality joystick, yeah, look no further than that, really, and you'll have a great experience. Really, it doesn't matter whether you're playing Xena Crisis or Donut Dodo. Yeah, I think if you're going to have arcade, then do it properly. So yeah, for me, that's the way to go.
Yeah, and then I've got here. What have I got in here? I've got. We get any pre-order bonus of Evercade pants? If not, why not? So I think that's just one for Triangle Face there. So no, that is like all our questions. I don't know if anyone wants to get any sneaky ones in before we finish.
All I was gonna say is what is a little bit concerned. Well, it's not really concerning. It's just more hardware Evercade are going to have to do updates on, which is going to have to be spread you know, they've got the Super Pocket ecosystem, VS ecosystem, the original handhelds, and then the XP ecosystem as well. So it's just another thing that these cartridges are going to have to work on. And I just hope that it doesn't cause, you know, making sure that things work on the Evercade Alpha, I hope doesn't have a knock-on effect on something else. And I really hope that everything's tested thoroughly and there's no patches when these are released, or someone inserts cartridge and the game doesn't work, like with the Super Pockets when it was first released. So fingers crossed everything's good to go at release, and it, as I say, it doesn't have a knock-on effect on any of the other Evercade devices or Hyper Mega Tech devices that people own and run.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Ryan, if you can just get the poll. So we've had 60 votes on the poll, but it's saying it's got some great potential. I just, like you're saying, fingers crossed. I just want to play one, see what it's like first. But yeah, fingers crossed to see that everything's all tickety boo, as they say.
Yeah, so we've got 60 people voted tonight, which is amazing. We've had over 60 people watching tonight, so thank you so much, because this has been thrown together very, very short notice, and we really, really appreciate everyone watching. So yes to both is 10%, and just let me get back to that in a moment. Yes to one is 27%, and no is 63%. So maybe these aren't actually aimed at the Evercade market. Maybe they're, like I said, they're aimed at people more outside of the Evercade ecosystem. What I do wonder is, are these arcade cabinets going to be numbered?
Oh, yeah.
Not that I've heard of, no.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
I mean, obviously, Blaze, like myself, are fully aware that every piece of hardware isn't for everyone. So yeah, with these arcade cabinets, for the last sort of 4 or 5 months, I've joined various groups to study these, like the Quarter Arcade group on Facebook, and to see why people purchase them and why they're purchasing lots of them. And people post lots of pictures where they've bought these Coke machines and little dustbins that you put with them, and patterned carpets that you put on the floor to make it look like a real arcade. And there seems like a very, very heavy following for this type of thing. So yeah, certainly my research has showed me that I think these will be popular. But yeah, I wouldn't imagine, for instance, somebody with an EXP and an Evercade Versus would necessarily jump in on this, unless, of course, like some of the followers I've got on Twitter are big arcade fans. And then obviously, yes, it's a must if you're an arcade fan. But yeah, Blaze are fully aware that, yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but then neither's the Versus or the EXP. It just depends on you.
Yeah, because some people, like in Hangout, some people love handhelds only, and they don't want a console to play on their TV, and vice versa. So I guess this is going to fill a void for those people who want an arcade cabinet to play at home, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a new space for Blaze to move into, you know. So that's a great thing.
yeah, I just saying, I just want to have a go on one. I'm just dying to see.
Yeah, everybody's desperate on there.
Especially that old the old deluxe one with that joystick you're on about. Derek.
well, I guess around October, November time, these will start going out to YouTubers. So yeah,
sorry, my throat there, Blaze.
I can already see DPT or whoever turning up with one of these for me, of course. And,
Yeah, under his arm.
just to play. But no, all seriousness, I'm sure that YouTubers will start to receive these, and influencers at some point later this year. So yeah, just keep an eye on that.
Yeah. I'll just leave that up there. Set up, and that's the secret boss of Blaze.
Final boss.
Secret millionaire. Graham, yeah.
Fired.
So yeah. So everyone, get in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Obviously we've already seen how you are on the poll. Let us know in the Evercade Hangout. Thank you so much for joining us. We've just clocked nearly half an hour just on like one topic and some questions. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. So we're back in 2 weeks on Monday, is it, Ryan? A week Monday, sorry.
Yeah, week Monday. So the next show will be Monday, the 10th of June, which is also the week Euro 2024 starts.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
So it shows you how quickly that's going to come around.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I mean, if anybody has got any questions, but they don't think of them right now, obviously in the 2 weeks time show, save them for that if you like. If you can't get a straight answer, and I will answer it for you there and then.
Thank you. Derek is an oracle of Evercade, so do save those questions until then, or ask him on Twitter, or X as it's now known. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to take those questions and then save them to read out on this, or share replies with you on
Yeah,
Twitter.
I mean, just an interesting fact that people don't know at the moment was the 2 cabinets obviously have 6 games, and a lot of people said they would have liked to have seen all 12 on one cabinet. Unfortunately, Blaze wasn't given that option by Capcom. It was 6 per unit, or that was it. That was the deal. So yeah, they had to go 6 per unit. Unfortunately, they couldn't do all 12 on one. That wasn't an option for them in the negotiation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
One thing I did mean to mention is Knights of the Round is an amazing game. So
it is. Yeah, I love it.
The way that your armor builds up as you're playing it, as you progress through, you get more and more sort of armor for your character. That is very cool. Let's leave it on that positive note, because I started quite negatively. So let's leave it on that nice positive thought from me.
Brilliant. So yeah, get the questions in. Keep them, save them for the next one. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining us.
You all for coming.
We will see you in a couple of weeks.
Good night.
See ya.